Okay, so here are my top tips on how to achieve healthy sleep habits holistically. So, really, really naturally and organically without sleep training, without cried out, without any of that. So, my first tip is get the room dark. Create a dark environment and a dark sleep space. So, the dark environment creates the sleepy hormone melatonin, which is what we all need and require to go to sleep, and can just help promote good sleep. So, first one is get that room dark. My next tip is to use white noise. Now, regardless of whether you've got a newborn baby or a 3-year-old toddler, using white noise is absolute key. Now, when the baby was in the womb, they were used to 90 decibels 24/7. So, having something like white noise can not only soothe them, but also help achieve better sleep, better naps, lengthier sleep, longer restorative sleep in general. So, using white noise is a really big and something similar to rain usually is what I recommend. You want it quite natural because not only a lot of the times babies are room sharing with their family, with their mum and dad. So it's not always just about the baby. It's sometimes mum and dad have to listen to that as well, and you want it to be somewhat nice. So something like rain or heavy rain or pouring rain, something like that on some type of app can be quite helpful. And you want it loud. So similar to when you're in the shower, you think you hear the door go, you think you hear the dogs bark. That's kind of how loud you want it to be. You want it to drown out external noises. So when you're in bed at night and you're moving your pillow, you're moving your blankets and your doona, you don't want Bub to hear that. And vice versa, when Bub's kind of thumping around in the cot or bassinet, you don't want to wake up to every little nook and cranny that they're doing. They might be just waking up for a bit of a stretch and a bit of a whinge, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're waking up and needing a feed or needing any support. They might be just stirring through the night. You don't want to hear all that. So using white noise, huge advocate for white noise. 3 is to follow an appropriate wake window relevant to your baby's age, because this is the absolute key here as well, is to make sure that you follow the right times. If you put a baby down too early, they won't sleep. If you put them down too late, they won't sleep. They'll be overtired. So following your baby's appropriate wake window is key to success when it comes to getting those naps right. Also ensuring that they get plenty of active playtime when they are awake. So babies, as an example, for a 6-month-old is capable of a 2-hour wake window. And in that 2 hours, you want to be able to feed them, give them a milk feed, change them. But most importantly, in that 2 hours, you want them to be busy, active. And they're obviously at an age at 6 months, they can't do a lot. You know, some babies are not even crawling and some are only just learning to roll. But you want them to be active. So whatever they're doing or whatever stage of development they're at, you just want them to be busy. So if they're rolling, lots of rolling. If they're kicking, lots of grabbing, lots of looking, lots of grabbing, kicking, anything you can do. Take them into different room environments, because usually within 10 to 15 minutes, Bub's going to start getting bored and start whinging and grizzling, and that can often also be confused with hunger cues and tide cues, but they're just bored. They just need a new activity, they need a new environment, they need a new something to mix it up a little bit. When they start to hit that wall around about, say, an hour and a half time, that also doesn't mean they need to go to bed. They just need a new activity. Maybe even put them in the sink with a bit of water play. Give them a little bit of a bath if you've got the time to do that. It doesn't have to be their bath for the night, obviously. It's just an opportunity to just kill some time. So keeping them active during their awake time is really important as well. What they're wearing to bed is equally as important, because particularly for day naps, something like this with a little nothing on the sleeve, in summer you feel like that's fine. You know, it's hot. It's too hot to put them in a sleeping bag, too hot to put them in much of anything. But when they're actually asleep, their body temperature drops, like all our body temperature drops, and you don't want them to wake up because they're then cold. So you just want them to have something on their sleeve. So if it is summer and it is really hot, you want them to have preferably the fan on, or even the air conditioning if you've got that opportunity to have in their bedroom. But you equally want them to have like a sleeve on and even a light sleeping bag. So when they do fall asleep and they fall into that deep sleep and their body temperature drops, you want them to be able to continue sleeping and not wake up because they're cold. And just like us, if we were to fall asleep in the living room, even on a hot day, we'd probably wake up within 20-30 minutes wanting to grab a curtain or something to pull over us, because you just kind of get that cold, a little bit chilly. So dressing them appropriately as well. And the most important thing above all of that is to ensure they've got a full tummy. You will not achieve good sleep with a baby even if you have the darkest room in the world and the loudest white noise and your timings are on point and they're snug as a bug, you still won't get them to go to sleep and stay asleep if they haven't had a full tummy or they're not feeding efficiently. So that is by far the most important thing to work on, to prioritize, because a full tummy is what's going to ultimately get you, your baby, to fall asleep relatively fuss-free or without a huge amount of protesting, and to stay asleep for a longer period of time. So that's kind of my few tips on how to get your baby to sleep, or toddler, holistically, without the sleep training and without the need to cry it out.